Hello, and welcome to another edition of, I guess it's my hydroponic, aquaponic, and bioponic greenhouse. Now I have in this greenhouse all three systems going, all three different types. Let me show you what I've got here. Coming into the greenhouse, to my right is this is a 8 Dutch bucket system, and as you can see here, this is I think this is zucchini or squash. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out once. Well, I see some fruits already occurring right here, as you can see, and it's doing pretty nicely. It's only a month old, and tremendous growth. I mean, absolutely stunning. This is a nice system because we have a nice little valve for draining, and it's pretty simple how it works. You know, you've got a bunch of pipes, water pipes from a main line down here that basically pumps to each individual bucket. Each bucket, I think, is 2.5 gallons. So we've got some watermelon. I know I shouldn't be training it up. It's not a good idea, but I'll have to make do with it later. As you can see, it's already flowering and tiny little fruits are starting to occur. This is a type of cucumber. Not sure what kind. I know with this watermelon, it's a small black kind. And not sure what this is. It might be eggplant. I'm not sure. And there's a bunch of other different types of plants in here. As you can see, tomatoes, and taking cuttings from various types of plants or trees. All right, to my left as I come in, actually I have my bucket with comfrey. I've been saving comfrey, throwing it into this into water and letting it rot. It's getting really, well, let's see how it's looking. I mean, the thing is, it really stinks. But the good news is, this is extremely good for bioponics. In fact, when I have enough of it, I would say about, when I'm making 5 to 10 gallons a month, or I should be having enough that I won't need to use urine, and I'll try to use strictly comfrey, because comfrey does have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all the micronutrients, and everything you need to basically grow anything you want. Alright, this unit right here, right next to the bucket, is what's called an ebb and flow system. This is a 3x3. I do have a 4x4 tray, and actually the stand will actually hold a 4x4, but being that I'm kind of strapped for room, and I decided I would make do with the 3x3. I just planted a bunch of things in here. Right now it's actually in its fill cycle, and it's actually on a timer. The timer goes on every 15, it goes on for 15 minutes, and it turns off for an hour. 15 minutes on, hour off. And the type of media I'm using is a combination of clay balls and coconut coir. So it's nice. It stays wet even during the dry cycle. So, I mean, the trick with most hydroponic media is that if you're going to flood the system often, you don't need that type of, you could use things that drain quicker, such as clay balls, or you can use even gravel, or other things that don't hold much water. But if you want to save electricity, and it's actually cheaper to go with the coconut, and just have the system come on once in a while. So anyway, I'm growing some tomatoes, some tomadillos, some different types of, I'm not sure what kind of things these are. This is the world's smallest tomatoes, courtesy of the University of Florida. And actually I'm growing a few of these. And this is about, let's see, 2 inches tall, and you can already start seeing the flowers form. I have a few more in my bioponic beds. I'll show you in a second. And this guy is a cutting that I just rooted, and as you can see, it's already got some nice, well, I don't want to pull it out, but it's got some nice roots already. It's a type of wild gooseberry, and it got some cutting of basil just took, and there's some various other things that I seeded in here, peppers and eggplants and whatnot. Actually, looks like I need to put some things on top so it goes pretty high, the water. So, all right, sometimes the output gets clogged a little bit. I just want to clean it off, make sure it stays clean. Don't want this thing flooding. That would be a bad idea. So I'm pretty impressed with these units. You see tremendous growth in a short amount of time. All right, moving on. This is my only aquaponic bed, and there's actually some fish in there. I don't know if you could see it. It's doing pretty nicely. We got some. This is actually Egyptian onion, walking onion. As you can see, the bulbs at the top, kind of nice. It's called walking onion because at some point it'll fall down, and those little bulbs will be able to grow new plants. I'm actually going to pick them off pretty shortly and grow more of them. They're pretty tasty, I've heard as well. So, got some of my oregano, my creeping oregano, the creeping thyme over there, various types of other things I'm growing. Ooh, it looks like this guy came out. I got to put that back in the soil, or I should say the rocks. Yeah, my dill's just starting to come up. Different types of, this is my herb bed basically. Not to say that I don't trust aquaponics for anything stronger, it's just I find that it does perfectly fine with herbs, so I try to restrict it to such. Alright, next, got my little microgreens. This is actually in dirt. I decided it would be easier to grow these things in dirt, and they do fine. Alright, this is my greens bed. What I mean by greens is different types of mustards and spinaches that aren't true spinaches. They're kind of either crosses or things that are what's called cut and come again. You simply cut them and they keep growing. They're very bolt resistant and they seem to do very nicely. They're delicious in salads. I don't know if you'd want the entire thing to be just salads, but you'd probably want to put some lettuce in there as well. But it definitely adds some tanginess, some zang, I guess, or zing, or whatever you want to call it, into the salad. Here, this is interesting. I actually got this. This is watercress. I bought a bunch of watercress from a market, and I just stuck it in the system. And well, you know, it works. It grows because it's growing in water, and that's one of the benefits of this kind of system is that it'll grow plants that are normally in the ground and plants that are normally in the water. Here you can see my lovely garden purslane. And I love purslane. It's a great source of what's called omega-3s, which normally you can only get from fish, and it's full of nutrients. Look it up if you don't know anything about purslane. Definitely look it up. All right, so it looks like occasionally I get some buggy wugs on the back of the leaves and whatnot, and I've been keeping them at bay with using what's called Thels naphtha. It's a type of soap. What I do is I dissolved a quarter of the bar of soap in a quart of water, and then I use a teaspoon of that into my sprayer. I can show you my sprayer right here. And basically just pump it and spray. It's not good to do during the day when there's a lot of sun and heat. You could dry out your plants. But it dries out the bugs that are soft bugs, and it does a great job. No complaints. All right, what else? Oh yeah, I got some kohlrabi growing here. I'm not going to eat the greens. I'm just going to wait for the nice little bulbous root thing to get thick and big. All right, more microgreens, and this another bioponic bed. Here I've got, gosh, I got almost everything growing. I got a nice trellised hops. I'm not going to leave this in the system. It's just I just started it. I got some cucumber. You could already see the flowers. Tons of flowers. This is actually one of my cuttings of kiwi, and I'm actually going to transplant that too because kiwi gets monstrous. And my tomatillas already flowering. My tomatoes flowering. And speaking of tomatoes, here's again the world's smallest tomato plants. Like I said, courtesy of University of Florida. It's called Tiny Tim. No, these are not available to the public. I was able to get them because as you can see, I do a lot of research with various systems, and I was interested to see how they would do in a bioponic, aquaponic, and hydroponic system. So I'm going to be testing that out. As you can see, it's literally, I mean, if you look at my hand, it's half the length of my hand, and it's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 flowers, and I see another bunch of tiny little flowers starting up. Here's another one. I've got them all over the place. They're kind of dwarfed by everything else in the system, but I figured it's kind of cool to put them in. I'm going to come around to the other side so you can see my peppers. Here's one of my peppers, and already flowering. Not sure what this guy is. I'll figure it out when it starts to bloom. Another one of those tiny little tomatoes. They're really tiny. Okay, moving on. This is my, a little bit of a mess right now, but this was my tall greens. I got my sorrel there, French sorrel, some cabbages, some kale, basically a lot of the brassicae or brassica family, and so cabbages, kale, I got some chard over there, and I'm going to be growing some other interesting things in the next couple of months that I highly doubt anyone's seen, well, you might have seen it if you've gone to Asian markets. I'm going to be growing Chinese kale, also known as Chinese broccoli. The leaves taste like kale and the stem tastes like broccoli. I actually had some for dinner last night. It was really delicious. Okay, in the ground here, I actually have a huge amount of Jerusalem artichokes, and so I'm going to see how they'll do in the ground. I'm going to see how they do in the systems, but for now, they're in the ground, and I should get a large harvest of the tubers. All right, next is my bed for lettuce and other small greens. I got a lot of purslane growing as well, and some interesting types of lettuces, oak leaf lettuces. Here's a let's see if that shows up the camera. Very interesting colored. I forgot the exact name, but these are all different types of lettuces that are very heat hardy. They do fine in the heat. They don't bolt easily. In fact, some of them are known never to bolt. And I specifically got that because right now, if we go over here, we can see the temperature in the greenhouse is basically almost 100 degrees. So it could get pretty hot in here. So we need to make sure that we get some heat-resistant varieties. They're not going to bolt like you see these guys already did. These are older varieties that I actually have to pull out. And last but not least is my another bed with some more peppers. Actually, this one's already forming small peppers. I got some kind of something for everybody here. I got a watermelon that's growing here. It's actually forming tiny little watermelons. Another watermelon over here. Some cabbages. This looks like it's another cucumber, and so it's kind of a mix. A couple cucumbers, so I guess I kind of I put whatever was left over in this bed, and I'll have to sort it out later. And of course I got my comfrey growing. I have some outside, but I transplanted a lot of it to the inside here, and the reason why is because I want to make sure that I get enough comfrey tea that I could either supplement or use instead of urine. So we'll see how that goes. Just going to pick a bunch of the leaves. I'm sure you've seen this done on other YouTube videos, but if you haven't, I think I picked that's okay, it'll be fine. It's hard to kill these things, really. You could pick and pick and pick, and all you'll do is, you won't get rid of the root. It's gone down deep. Alright, so